Hey, what's going on? We are live. It is Monday, the 23rd of May. I was about to say February. That's weird. 2016, and this is the Secrets Beverage Lab podcast, episode 144. We are back talking about one of the bigger beer fests on the East Coast that is coming up in a week's time. We're going to get right to it because there's a lot of beer, even though it's a quote-unquote small festival. We're going to get to that in a second, but I am drinking. Haven't even opened it yet because I was too busy setting up, but I'm drinking the... I'm gonna say it wrong. I don't know if you know about it, Carla, but the Pfaffenheck. Yeah, it's
Whoa.
the new
Nope.
German style Pilsner from Night Shift. Thanks to Frosty DG on Twitter for picking me up a 4-pack this weekend. Wait,
Oh,
live review. Oh, that's good. Ooh, it tastes a little different than I'm used to from German Pilsners, so I like to know what I'm tasting. I will research and come back.
what
I'm,
is the flavor that's unexpected? More
it's
hops, more sweet?
it seems not as light as I would expect it in terms of like mouthfeel. If that makes sense.
Yeah, cool.
But
I'm actually, I'm drinking a German lager too.
see, I
Which
was
is
just gonna mention that because I think that tastes nice and light. It is like the beer of the summer. Carla, what's going on?
so I'm drinking a Moat Mountain. Hell yes,
Yes,
Hell's lager,
I love it.
and I picked this up at my local bootleggers. I've been doing a little lager research, trying to get my lagers straight because it's becoming a trend, and I'm trying to learn what's what. But what's driving me nuts lately, like that, is that not this one, because this one at least tells you it's a Hell's lager, right?
Sure.
But if
Yeah.
you have to think like, oh, it's a lager, like you don't know what it's telling you, because really
Yeah.
technically all it tells you is that it's bottom, the cold fermenting yeast and yada yada yada. It really doesn't tell you anything about the inside. So there's a lot of people that are making craft lagers, and they're just calling it like the lager, and I'm like, well, okay, give me a
Yeah.
little more information so that I can help people steer them in the right direction, right? Because not all lagers taste like Bud Light or whatever. So it's
It's just like calling all beers like ales or something. It's not.
yeah, right.
You know.
So my dad used to, before my dad really knew craft beer, and he's still learning but whatever. He used to go to a bar and he said, I would like an ale, and the
It's like
bartender
get
would be
out of
like,
here.
what now? I said, Dad, no, it's like half of all beer. No, 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 an ale. I was like, okay. So, uh, but uh, but
Was it?
yeah, so it's becoming that with the lager now. So
Yeah. Well, and then to the lager point is I I would think that a lot of people think that the Boston Lager is like the style of lager, but it's just a different style of lager because
yep,
that Hell's Lager does not taste anything like the Boston Lager. It doesn't taste anything like the Jack's Abbey Lager, but they're all great beers. I love Sam Adams Boston Lager, but they're just different styles.
different.
So yeah, like so to your point, it's kind of like how do they all differ and what does lager mean besides
Yeah,
just cool fermenting.
yeah.
But I was on a good light beer kick. I picked up a 4-pack after our show the last time of that, or no, a 6-pack of the Jack's Abbey lager because that's readily available. And then I
Yeah.
just picked up Backlash is in cans and they're in Maine, so I picked up their a 4-pack of their IPA and their Groundswell, and the Groundswell is a Belgian pale ale,
I didn't
super
know they did any of
refreshing.
that styles. I
Hmm?
guess I thought. I the only couple times I've had Backlash so far have been at like Beer Fest and whatnot, and I think I've always tried something hoppy from them, so that's kind of cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did see
yeah.
a full pack of something at Bootleggers, but I did not pick it up yet. So
It was
I'll
good. I definitely enjoyed the Belgian style pale ale better, just because it was a nice like super light. I just finished mowing the lawn, that kind of thing. I say light, but I think it was like 6%. But either way, it was what I needed as in terms of like a beer instead of an IPA at that point. Sean and Ben may be joining us. I believe Sean is waiting in the wings
How's
under
it going?
tech.
Can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you. I
yeah.
can't see you, but go ahead. Hey, talk to us.
Hey, what's up? This is Sean from twobeerguys.com, also
This video is
also
great, by the
known
way.
as the Sopranos finale when it
Oh
when
yeah.
it, when it fades to black.
Don't
Um,
stop.
yeah, I had a weird thing. I went to go use my computer this morning, and it had already updated to Windows 10.
Oh.
And now I'm trying to navigate Windows 10 and say, hey, I want to let Chrome use my camera, and I'm not sure how. So I'm trying to figure that out while we're going.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Hey, well, I mean, you sound great if that's anything,
Thanks.
because and the majority of the podcast downloads are audio, so people that are watching are just, they love seeing a non-Sean, just a black hole.
And for the sake of the
You can't
show,
imagine it.
I'm holding up my beverage in front of the camera.
Ooh.
It's actually a brand new Mayflower IPA 12-ounce can.
Ooh,
As
okay.
you may know that they started with bottles. They've been bottling for quite some time, sorry. And then about a couple of weeks ago, they started canning. So I went to the store to get someone else's cans and found out they're not going to be out till Friday. So next week,
The
you'll
can
you'll
the can is in.
exactly.
What was I going to ask you, Sean? Actually, get comfortable, and try to fix your camera. No big deal if you can't. Glad you're here to talk about it, because we're here to talk about the Microbrew Fest next week in Boston.
Oh
But
yes.
I mean, not much happened in the past week. Like I was saying, I picked up some more, just trying some new beers. That Spruce Creek Tavern in Kittery, Maine. I'm getting local here, but the Spruce Creek Provisions in Kittery, Maine is a great beer store. That's where I got my backlash. Picked up some Black Hog as well. That's good stuff.
Well,
Um,
a new brewer opened this past weekend in
well,
Londonderry.
yes. Well, why don't you hold that thought until I'm finished talking, you son of a...
Holding.
Hold it. Because I was gonna kind of lean that way, so we're gonna move down the New Hampshire map in a second, because I wanted to transition into talking about an event that I missed that I want to know if you happen to go to. But I was going to go to Portsmouth at all on Saturday, but it was graduation weekend at UNH, so none of it was possible. We ended up going to Throwback, but Throwback then was closed Friday and Saturday because they had a wedding at night. So we were kind of just crap out of luck. But we did end up stopping by Whim and having some beer there. I had a great beer from the Barrel Brewery is that Londonderry also, Sean?
From the Barrel is actually, I think it's Derry.
Is it Derry? Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, no, Moonlight Meadery is in.
'cause I think it's right by Kelson, which is in Londonderry.
Yeah, it's in the same. Kelson's in Derry, but
Right.
is Moonlight Meadery in Londonderry because they're in the same plaza?
I mean, there's only one way to find out, and that's by asking
Like a little
our friends
Google
on Google.
action.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They are from Londonderry, from the Barrel.
Yeah.
But so they had a great, I believe it was was it a coffee stout or something? Either way, it was awesome, and it was good to see that beer at Whim, because Alex, the owner, was super pumped about it. So, but actually transitioning down south, Sean, I noticed on our good friend of the show, Jack's Abbey rep Rob, was at an event in Derry that had over 20
Sunday.
Yeah, that had over 20 casks at Cask and Vine.
That is correct. It was Cask and Vine's anniversary, and they were serving casks only, and they had 2 different sessions, and it was a kind of a ticketed event where you go in and you could try the different casks all under one sort of rate.
Nice. It looked like a good time. I mean, I know it's a small venue, so I wonder how it was attended, but it looked like it was. It said both sessions were sold out. So that's
right.
That's
He was
pretty
hoping for a combine of like 300 people.
cool. Okay. Yep.
It's a little. I wasn't able to go. Rob said it was. I talked to him today. He said it was very well attended, and a lot of great casks. And actually, we were connected because we brought in like 4 or 5 new casks that we've never sold in that area.
All right.
So it was kind of for us that last minute running around making it happen. I think we brought a total of 6 out of the 20 to that event.
Sweet. Yes.
But I thought you were going to talk about the event that was on Saturday.
Go ahead, hey, Sean. Take the mic. It's all you now.
So the event on Saturday was in Nashua at the Mill Yard, and it was hosted by the Hope Foundation, which is a charity, and it was New Hampshire's first beer and bacon festival.
Was that this weekend?
It was.
I kept hearing commercials on the radio about it, so it was interesting.
Well, that's you might have been hearing. I don't know.
Oh wait, no, I was hearing the one about. There was one about that was at the community college up here, wasn't it? Wasn't there one up here?
Yeah.
That's too many bacon and beer fests in the same couple weeks.
This one sold out within 48 hours.
Good lord!
Wow.
So how was it?
Exactly. It was good. They ran it very well. Very big space. They had people park in one area and bus them in, so it wasn't too congested.
Yeah.
Even before the event, the people were lined up. They were given wristbands, and basically, when the clock struck 1 o'clock, it was just a flood of people. I brought a couple beer and like bacon specific beers, kind of. So I brought Tinder from Uenta, which is a smoked Rausch beer.
Nice.
I brought
Yum.
some Trosten, which is a German Schwarz beer from Von Trapp, and I also had amongst a couple other beers, I had Foolproof's Chocolat, which is their chocolate oyster stout.
So for those that are new to the show, Sean, can you explain why you're bringing these beers to places? Because you can't just bring these beers to the festival if you're a festival goer. Why don't you
I'm working with the local wholesaler to be able to provide some extra beers to serve. So I was actually Allagash, and serving just a couple beer specific, bacon specific beers for the event.
Okay, gotcha. Now, are you a bacon fan? Because for those that don't know, Sean Jansen of twobeerguys.com, extremely picky eater.
I am a bacon fan, and when I was in Philly, we found a bar that did chicken wings that had a bacon rub on it, bacon bits rub, like real bacon that they chopped up. Delicious.
Ooh, stop it now. See, now we're going to talk about this anymore. Sounds too good.
Too much bacon.
Yeah. It was a very good event. Great band, well attended. I would say in the realm of beer drinkers, it was more of a novice beer fan. I don't think a lot of people knew the different brands that were around there, and there was a lot of give me your favorite, what's your favorite type of deal, and you're like, okay.
Right.
But overall, I think it was a great way to get some local restaurants and some local and regional breweries and to help for charity.
Cool, that's awesome.
Or did I?
High Hopes Foundation.
High Hopes.
Okay.
And then you were mentioning a new brewery, and do you have any information on that? Because I did see they had a pretty big list of beers to launch. What do you know about them?
I just know that they got their license on Thursday. They opened up on Saturday. I think sold out. They sold out some beer on Saturday, and then I don't know if they actually sold out or they got close to. And they were open Sunday. I'm gonna go be checking it out soon. They're not near the other Londonderry breweries or dairy breweries. It's more like the south of Manchester side.
Okay,
closer to that.
And this is called Pipe Dream Brewing, right?
Pipe Dream. Yep.
And it looked from the pictures I saw that they were posted. They are West Coast inspired, so they had the good set of IPAs, but they also had, I believe, a nitro coffee stout and another stout. So they seem to have a good various variety of beers across the board, which seemed very nice.
Yep.
But so I'm looking forward to going to check them out. And again, that area is great. My wife and I did the whole Kelson, Cask and Vine. We did another one there. Rockingham we did, and that was a great one as well. But yeah, there's also From the Barrel around there, and 603 Moonlight Meadery. It's good stuff. Carla, what's going on? We're gaining brewers. You're losing brewers, sort of. What's happening up there?
Brewers? Why did I say anything about losing brewers?
Well, so I said sort of because of Bissell. it helps when I'm not clear at all.
So I was talking offline before we got onto the podcast with Brian that my last column for the Ballard that I write, a monthly column, is actually about all the things that have changed in Maine beer since last summer. So in other words, if you come up to Maine last year and did everything to do with our beer scene, you have no idea because it's all different now. And at the top of that list is that Friday was the last day for the Bissell brothers in their old space on Industrial Way, so they have officially moved out to Thompson Point, and on June 4th they're going to have their basically grand reopening down there. I've not seen the inside of this space yet, but the teaser pictures they've posted look amazing.
Nice.
It's going to be really fun. And also, just to keep things interesting, we also have had another brewery open up in Brewer called Mason's Brewing Company, big brewery, releasing cans and whatnot out into the world, and they have a very large space as well. Haven't had the beer yet. Talked to a couple of people that have, but But they are out there in force already, and also they're very close to having the Gruit-based brewery at Urban Farm Fermentary too. So they've got all their permitting. They're just basically going to do some test brewing, and then they're going to be going strong with the Gruit,
Awesome.
which is pretty awesome. And then, and I just saw a post today that Foulmouth, which is the brew pub that's going to open in South Portland, is very, very close as well. So it's a summer of opening. So we've had 7 new breweries since the beginning of the year, and we have another 8 in waiting. So
Whatever.
yay! And
So
those are the
crazy.
ones like, seriously in waiting. Like they are making progress, and I'm absolutely sure they're going to open before the end of the year. There's another probably 5 or 10 that are like, yes, we're going to open a brewery at some point. And I'm like, no, I'm not even counting you yet. So, so I've just been kind of trying to keep up with what's going on there. Like I said, haven't had any Mason's beer yet, but I'm sure I will be seeing it soon. Just judging on how much volume they were putting out at the outset. So.
Well, the big question there is there going to be a main bubble? Like, at what point will be there too many? And what's the expectation? Are people going to have a smaller share? Are there going to be is there going to be more rotation? Some of these breweries ever going to be making it to like a restaurant on draft?
Well, like, this surprised me because, like, I mean, and I understand, if you have the means and that's what you want to do, go ahead and open a big brewery. But the trend that was happening kind of before Mason's became a thing was that the towns that didn't have breweries were getting their own brewery, which was great because that's like, okay, it's a new community space. They're filling the niche of the cities and towns around them. They're on tap at the local bars, and they have room to expand from there, but they have, like, their home base, right? But not a lot of them had, like, leapt to doing cans, bottles, crowler, like basically the shelf market. So we still have a lot of shelf space available in Maine, but that's going to, especially if there are several companies that are dominating that may be harder and harder to get into as these other breweries mature and actually want to expand beyond their little towns. So there's going to be a little bit of interesting. I don't want to say territorialism, but basically they're going to start bumping up against each other at some point. So it's going to. I'm curious to see how that's going to go, and if there's enough demand for all of it. So.
Now, did you? I know this is probably way too quick to assume, and I haven't seen anything from Foundation, but the Foundation is taking over the Bissell space.
Yes.
I doubt they have any equipment to fill it yet. There's no outlook as to when. So.
I am not up to speed on that bubble, so I can find out by next week, though.
Okay.
But I'm not, because I do believe there is an expansion going with that move, but I'm not certain, so I don't want to say for sure because I'm not sure.
Fine. So you're saying they're closing down? No, kidding. Start the biggest rumor right now.
No, definitely not. In fact, they just posted a picture of a huge pallet of cans for their beer Afterglow that they're planning on filling up in the next couple of days. So if you guys are hankering for a Portland visit, that's a pretty good reason to come up here.
I'm hankering for a Portland for a Portland visit, and I'm very excited to see what a bigger Foundation crowd looks like. Not a bigger Foundation crowd, that I misused it. But what a bigger Foundation brewery will be like with the same crowd, or if it will be like a mass chaos as if it was 2 breweries still. Because my hope is it'll be calm because they'll allow more people inside, but who knows? We don't even know the plans.
I haven't kept up with, this is on me, but I haven't kept up with what their exact plans are for, what's moving where and how they're expanding. But I would hope that maybe they have I think they have a good reason to kind of make their tasting space bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To accommodate more people or get them in and out in a different way. Because it was really, when they built that tasting space, I don't think they had any idea how many people were going to go crazy about Epiphany and everything else. So it's a little hard to get in and out of there, especially if you want to, get a growler filled or something like that. So I think they're probably keeping that in mind as they do these revisions. But I would love to see a little bit bigger of an area, or just an easier in and out, or just maybe reorient it so that it's easier. But they'll have plenty of space to work with now that Bissell's out, so I guess we'll have to see what they do.
Awesome. Well, let's speak of the smallish breweries. Let's get into what I wanted to talk about this time, because next week is a first annual festival. I say annual because who knows, but it's the first time that Beer Advocate is doing this kind of festival. what they say in this frequently asked questions part is they're taking a break from the American Craft Beer Festival, which was kind of like the biggest festival in Boston that would house hundreds of breweries, and now they're kind of dialing it down a little bit at the same place, but they're calling it the Beer Advocate Microbrew Invitational. You guys heard about this coming up?
Yes.
Yep.
Something tells me Sean's heard about it, maybe for different reasons. But a quick rundown of the description, and then I want to get into the kind of the breweries that are involved, because it's definitely from a festival goer's standpoint could be one of the coolest festival ideas, because these are a lot of the breweries that are very packed, hard to get into. So it's that kind of festival. But it says, Beer Advocate is proud to announce its first ever Beer Advocate Microbrew Invitational held at the Seaport World Trade Center, which is where they held their previous American Craft Beer Festivals, on June 3rd and 4th, which is next week, featuring a carefully curated lineup of beer, plus other fermented beverages from some of the world's finest microbreweries. And they also go ahead and define their microbrewery term, which is a brewery that produces less than 15,000 barrels, which is 465,000 gallons of beer per year. So they're focusing on the small, on the microbreweries. Obviously, 15,000 barrels still no slouch, but for a brewery. But we can get into the list. But a quick for those that are wondering about tickets and everything, the link will be on the show notes. But it is beeradvocate.com/micro. But the second session, which is I have mixed opinions on how the sessions are laid out as far as 1, 2, 3. The first session on Saturday, which is known as Session 2, is sold out. So that's the 1 to 4:30 session. But the 6 to 9:30 p.m. session on Saturday and the first session on Friday, 6 to 9:30. Wide open. Get in there and get tickets. So do that. Beer. Want to run down some of the lists? How about I'll read the New Hampshire ones. Maybe you guys, or you just want to go down the whole list and say there's only 70, but I don't know if you guys want to
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So I'll just read them. You guys can give a yay or nay as we go. But if not, I'll just keep reading. But this is the beer lineup as of now. Right now there's 70, give or take. Not give or take 70, but give or take a couple. But here's the beer list so far. We have 14 Star out of St. Albans, Vermont. Good brewery right there.
Never had it.
That maple breakfast stout is worth the trip to St. Albans. I'm just saying.
Wow.
3 Stars Brewing Company out of D.C. Anyone had anything from them?
I don't think
No.
so. I went to a different one in D.C. Actually, maybe I have to look at the labels.
We have. I got a little bit.
Really not that brewery. Okay.
No. I got a little bit excited because I saw the word abandoned, and I was hoping it was Abandoned Building Brewery, but it's actually Abandoned Brewing Company out of Penn Yan, New York.
Oh.
So they're coming in. They got a couple good ones. They got some Farmhouse, some Wilds. We have Somerville Brewing's, Somerville, Massachusetts Aeronaut Brewing Company. Haven't anything from them though.
I've tried to go there. I think I went there the only day that they were closed.
Yeah, I'm excited to try some of that for sure.
That was one of the ones that Mike Labby helped at the beginning stages to help open up.
Okay, and Mike Labby is
the auxiliary brewing person for like almost everybody he's worked. His current location is I believe Lord Hobo. But
gotcha. Yes, and
he's the big cast guy, from Near
So he did he do Moan and Dove and High Horse as well?
Wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, Moan and Dove and High Horse and Hadley / Amherst, Mass.
Cellarman, Caskman for Red Hook and Portsmouth for a while.
Oh boy!
Along with opening the little beer works with their production.
So the beer's got to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we also have a Back East Brewing Company out of Bloomfield, Connecticut. We got Banded Horn. Ever heard of her? Out of Biddeford, Maine. Bringing some good stuff. They got the Wicked Bueno. The price per can, Ben was saying, was not particularly Wicked Bueno in the store he visited, but we won't say which store. He went yesterday to try to find some, and it was not Wicked Bueno. Barreled Souls out of Saco.
Heck yeah. And they're bringing their tequila barrel-aged Space Goza, which is so good.
Ooh. And I love how, alphabetically they're listed back to back, but they're that close together also in
They're
mileage.
in the Bitterford Triangle that is soon to
Yep.
have its third. But yeah,
We
Barrel
got
Souls, Corn, awesome.
we got Bentwater Brewing out of Lynn, Massachusetts. Haven't heard of them. Sean, have you heard of them? Bentwater?
I have, and actually, I was at Leary's tonight. You can get 3 of their different styles in cans.
Oh,
I almost picked it up for the show today.
I will be in the Leary's area tomorrow night, so I appreciate that info.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to tell you because now you're going to be like, why didn't you tell me you're near my house?
No, I'm just gonna sit in the Leary's parking lot, wait for you to
Oh,
drive
no.
in.
Just watch
Oh.
Untapped. Just watch Untapped. I'll be with a familiar face. Don't worry. We also have a Brazo Fuerte artisanal beer out of Watertown, Mass. And
I'm not familiar with them.
but if you give a name of a beer Big E, I'm in because Big E is kind of the coolest thing in Massachusetts. So name a beer after a state fair, and you got me. So they got some good stuff there. Building 8 Brewing, and if you guys haven't had a Building 8 beer, get in there. Their double IPA is outstanding. It's a great looking can, sells out a bunch. I'm not sure if it has ties at all to that Mike person, Sean, but it might.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because like talking about that brewery with a friend of mine, the terms Moan and Dove and High Horse were also scattered about that tale. So I think it was the same guy. We also have Cambridge Brewing Company bringing a lot of good stuff. So far, I've been seeing a lot of.
Sergeant Pepper, which is their saison with peppercorns in it, is like the first saison that I ever really, really liked, and I was like, "Wow, that's really fun." So the fact that they're still brewing that after all these years is kind of awesome.
Solid, yeah, and I mean, and they're bringing a Flanders, a couple saisons. It's awesome. It's good stuff. We got Castle Island out of Norwood. Only thing I know in Norwood is the Auto Mile. So Sean, have you heard of
I've heard of the Auto Mile.
No. Have you heard of Castle Island Brewing?
Not yet.
All right, it's an Ernie Bach Pale Ale. Never mind. Common Roots Brewing Company out of South Glens Falls. Lake George shout out. I'm a fan.
Wow.
So I've never heard of them, so I can't wait to give them a go. We also have Denizens Brewing Company out of Silver Spring, Maryland. Good to see some Maryland rep. Have you ever heard of them, Carla?
I have. I feel like I've had one of these before, and it might have been the Southside Rye. But they're relatively new though. They have not been around long, if memory serves.
Cool. Sean, you want to take over from here for a couple breweries?
Give me a second.
Oh boy, someone wasn't following along, was he?
I can do it.
Oh yeah, sure, Carla, hop in. Yeah.
All right. So next up is Drop In Brewing Company. So that is from Middlebury, Vermont. I am also not familiar with them. I am really not familiar with most of Vermont's beer scene. I'm so sorry, New England. I've been too busy. So I'm not too familiar with them. You guys know those guys?
Yeah.
Drop In. Okay. And then we talk about these guys a lot. Earth Eagle out of Portsmouth doing the Gruit thing.
I haven't heard of any of these beers, by the way, that they're bringing. So so there's 7 New Hampshire breweries going, and a lot of them are bringing beers that, like, even though you know these breweries,
yeah, they're rare.
Yeah, rare.
They're rare or they're new, which is kind of fun.
Yes.
Ebenezer's Brew Pub. This is the one in my neck of the woods. I actually went there for dinner the other night. They're coming. I tried their that new one there is called Tropical Cougar Pale Wheat Ale. Pretty good.
Interesting name.
Tropical Cougar.
Interesting name.
That's crazy.
It's like Samuel's Jamaica. Never mind.
Between the Tropical Cougar and the Hassenjogger, I like the Hassenjogger better, but that just might be because I'm on a lager kick. So they're doing some good stuff. The next up is Ecliptic Brewing from Portland, Oregon. So that is not my Portland. That is someone else's Portland. But they have a grapefruit goza, and that sounds really fun. So I'm gonna miss that.
I like that.
Next up is Element Brewing Company from Millers Falls, Massachusetts. Sorry, I almost said Milner's.
Yeah, great brewery. I've never been to it though.
Yeah, I've never physically been there. I've had their beer though. It's pretty good. Next up is Evil Genius out of West Grove, Pennsylvania.
I love
they have a beer.
Mob Meatloaf. Oh, yeah, Stacy's Mob too. Yeah.
And I love Lamp. I just like this brewery because of their names. So you got like an Anchorman reference and yeah, sometimes. Fiddlehead Brewing Company. It is the time of year for fiddleheads. So
yes.
So good. and they're out of Shelburne, Vermont. Not again my Vermont.
Have you been to Fiddlehead yet, Carla?
Have I been to what?
Have you been to Fiddlehead at all? Okay, so shut the podcast down. You and Mike get up to that area. That's good stuff up there.
Yeah, I really am due for like spending a weekend in Vermont, and I know they say that every year, and I still haven't gotten to do it. So someday I will. It's a long drive. Next up, actually, my little brother's neck of the woods is Finback Brewery in Queens, New York. Gozas. That one, they've got a Goza too. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Also, Firefly Hollow Brewing Company, Bristol, Connecticut. Another Connecticut beer. Flying Dreams Brewing Company out of Worcester, Mass. Have you guys heard of these guys? I have not heard of these.
I have not. No. And Sean just joined the call again. But Flying Dreams, Sean, have you heard of Flying Dreams?
I have not. That's the one that was in Worcester?
Yeah.
I gotta look. I gotta maybe
popping up. It's crazy.
It says added November of 2015. So maybe wait a second, Sean. Look at the picture of that. Is that the old peppercorns? I'll put the link in the thing.
Oh, it is. Yes,
okay.
It is.
Okay, cool. So
it's the original Wormtown.
That's what I meant. Yeah, it's the original Wormtown. But yeah,
that should be, if it is, and we're right, that will be Dave Richardson, formerly of Gardner Ale House.
And okay. See, so again, it could be a good brewery. Could be good beer. And again, if you're playing the drinking game at home, every time Sean drops a name, just have a quick sip.
Thanks. You asked who it was.
I'm just saying. I don't think I did. Let's check the tape. All right. Keep going, Carla. Sorry.
Next up, we were talking about them earlier. Foundation Brewing Company. They are bringing Epiphany and Wanderlust as well as a Pilsner, apparently. I have not had the Pilsner, but the other two are impeccably good. So go have some.
Nice.
Ninth Brewing Company out of Limerick is also coming. These guys are amazing. They make really good wheat beers and German-style beers. They're fun. Great North Ale Works in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Award-winning?
Award-winning.
As of the World Beer Cup, so.
Very nice, very nice.
We were there for the release of Tie Dyed.
Oh, nice.
During the show.
Yes. The garbled video footage is located on SBLpodcast.com.
Gray Sail Brewing, Rhode Island, Westerly, Rhode Island, is coming. So is Hardywood Park Craft Brewing from Richmond, Virginia. Not familiar with those guys at all, so that's neat. They're bringing a Berliner Weiss, an Imperial Stout, a Triple, and a Doppelbock. So cool. That's a portfolio right there.
Yeah.
Next up, friends of the show, Henniker Brewing Company. We're big fans of those guys and what they're doing. At least I am. Maybe I'm not speaking for you guys, but I like their stuff.
And their Sour Flower is their brand new one that's coming out. Their American Wild.
Neat. Following that, Hermit Thrush Brewery in Brattleboro, Vermont. How long have they been around? I feel like I've had their stuff before. I feel like I've went to Brattleboro. The Brattleboro is as far into Vermont's beer as I got the last time I went.
Yeah, and I don't know how old they are. All I know is their beers. I remember having like a 2% that was like crazy good. But the beers that are listed here aren't that. But according to Beer Advocate, they were added in 2014. So
I drunken yogi.
I go to the site more often. All right, Sean, you want to pick up from from here?
I will, but I'll tell you first where, because I just went to Hermit Thrush for their website.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully they have it on info. Go. It looks like it's hard to tell these days. It looks like it's sometime after 2012 or 2013.
Yeah.
Belgian-inspired, brewed responsibly.
Yeah.
So going after Hermit Thrush is Hidden Cove Brewing Company, which is / Fire and Brew. Carla, do you know why they're Fire and Brew also?
It used to be Fire and Brew is the name of the pub that the brewery's in.
Okay.
So originally they were calling themselves Fire and Brew, and then kind of like they've had a couple of like name shifts.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of the nomenclature at this point. But Fire and Brew is actually the name of like the pub in which their brewery lives, but it's not a brew pub, so it's weird.
They'll be there with a Flanders Red, which sounds delicious.
Yeah, I'm overdue to go back around and give them a visit now that the weather's getting nice. Go take a little pop down to Maine, to Wells. And to pop down to Maine, of course. I'm in Maine. Because I've been hearing some good things. So
and their bottles are popping up pretty much in a lot of different places. I'm like, I keep forgetting about them just because it's Wells, and it's like I know Tully's, but I'm like, wait, there's no brewery there, but yes, Hidden Cove is for sure.
There is.
It's right there.
Yeah.
And following the list is Idle Hands.
Yeah, friend of the show.
If you notice here, they actually have Malden, Massachusetts as their address listed. So they must have completed the transition into their new space, and because they were brewing out of Night Shift for a while.
Yes.
Cool.
Then after that is J. Wakefield Brewing from Miami, Florida. They're bringing the Big Papa, which is American Double IPA, at a whopping 15.2% ABV.
So you start with that one. Like if you're gonna go to the festival, you pick that one. No, I'm kidding. Don't go there first.
Yeah. You go there and you finish off with a J. Wakefield Orange Dreamsicle it's a Berliner Weiss at 4%.
That must be an interesting experiment. Starting with the strongest beer at the fest, but like then working your way down.
Exactly.
I wouldn't recommend it. As
Yeah.
Sorry.
Following that is a Knee Deep Brewing Company out of Auburn, California.
Yep.
Bringing a bunch of different American, and actually all American IPAs or double IPAs, so bringing the West Coast to the East. After that is I would say it's a new brewery out of Rhode Island called Long Live Beer Works from Providence, Rhode Island.
Do you think they're not a Beer Works affiliate? It's just
No, it seems to be a one-word Beer Works instead of
good call.
Yeah.
Work. Although that's not confusing, so we'll see how long that name lives.
Yeah.
The next couple ones, we are quite familiar with them. First up is Lord Hobo Brewing Company from Woburn, Mass. They're going to be rocking the Boom Sauce and the double dry hopped Galaxy Boom Sauce.
We're getting that in cans now in Maine. I've seen the Boom Sauce and everything in Hobo Life and whatever on the show.
Hobo Life's the real deal for sure. And let's not forget.
Good old steal this can.
Yeah, and sorry, you missed a beer name up there, Sean, for Long Live Beer Works. There's a beer called Sausage Pizza.
Oh, sorry, I missed that one.
So I'm just making sure we have that on the record.
Yeah.
So, sorry, continue.
Following that is Lost Nation Brewing out of Morrisville, Vermont. Very well known for their sours and their goza.
How many gozas are there at this thing?
I'm excited. I remember us talking about it last year for the ACBF. There were a lot of breweries stepping up and bringing things that weren't IPAs, like gozas and farmhouses, and it was really good. My wife and I had a great time trying the gozas.
Yeah,
nice.
There are seven gozas coming to this.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Following that is
Beer Goza fan.
Medusa Brewing Company from Hudson, Mass.
Ooh, yep. It's one of those breweries that I've had one, and I need to try more because all their beers are great.
Exactly.
all the one that I've had.
And then Mystic Brewing Company from Chelsea, Massachusetts.
Nice.
I think there's a couple that I've never had before, like Scattery, which is also a goze.
Ooh.
And then one of our New Hampshire folks, Neighborhood Beer Company from Exeter, New Hampshire.
Yes, I just became a Mug Club member this past weekend and tried their Baroque Butterfly. What's cool about becoming a Mug Club member there is you get your name as a street sign in their brewery that goes around the brewery.
That's pretty cool.
So soon you will see Aldrich Boulevard aligned on the thing. That's pretty much why I got the Mug Club. No, I'm just kidding.
And then
Obstinate Goat. I'm sorry, that's just totally awesome. Obstinate Goat Medicinal Ale is my back.
Yeah, I believe they had that when I was there, but I forget. But I definitely had the Baroque. It was tasty treats.
Yeah.
We obviously know who the Obstinate Goat is. I'm sure Night Shift is listening, and they'll concur.
Wait, no, we're talking Neighborhood's Obstinate Goat.
No, yes, I know that. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Neighborhood will
Oh,
concur
for
about
sure.
Obstinate Goat knowing who it is.
For sure.
And, sorry, that leads right into the next brewery is Night Shift Brewing out of Everett, Mass. Bringing
Very nice.
they're awake with coffee. They're,
Nice.
good old St. Tilly, President Double IPA called Truman. Then there's Ocelot Brewing Company.
Ocelot?
Ocelot from
Ocelot.
Sterling, Virginia.
Ocelot is the thing that in Archer, she has the pet ocelot. It's like a tiger thing.
Okay.
I thought so.
I-
I thought so.
They do have a saison called The Scream of the Butterfly.
God, that sounds dangerous.
This is a very nice selection of beer names. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it's cool. And then there's one called Tomorrow. Like, you know what? I'll have this one tomorrow.
Exactly.
Just this one.
Good old, but that one still, it's 2 doubles, an American IPA, and a saison. And then going into the other half brewing company of Brooklyn, New York, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double IPAs and 2 American IPAs.
Yeah, bring some pretzels. Actually, don't bring any food. Buy some pretzels here. I don't think you can bring food in here.
Right?
Yeah,
a lot
all dank everything Imperial IPA from Other Half Brewing Company.
Yeah, like, have you ever been to a conference where like there's concurrent sessions, right? And you can either, you go down the like the small business section or the whatever, like, and you pick your path. I feel like this fest, you can either go the I'm going to have everything that's labeled an IPA path, or you could have the like Berliner Weiss and Ghost path. Like,
there's gonna be definitely split camps, and it's gonna turn out into like warriors, like just gang fights. No. But no, I mean it's definitely interesting. Is like, I mean, as we're going through this list, how are you gonna divide up your time? Are you gonna look at the the map and say I want to try this brewery, and then go through their beers, but then by then you've maybe have tried 4 samples, so you're cutting down on your time of beer. So it's gonna be interesting. All these fests are. Even though it's a small festival, they're bringing a lot of beer.
Exactly.
I'll pick it up on what are you on, Overshores now?
Yep.
Overshores Brewing Company of East Haven. Sean, you know Connecticut?
Not familiar.
Some good names there. It looks like more of like a Belgian inspired.
Yeah, it's a Belgian IPA, a wit beer, quad, and a triple.
I mean, sounds good to me. We have Port Jeff Brewing out of Port Jefferson, New York. Carla, familiar?
I know them because they're around the corner from my mom's house.
Nice.
They make some very decent beer, actually. They have one that's not on the list here that's something about a burning ferry, and it's a Roush beer, which is kind of funny because that's where the ferry goes across from there to Connecticut. But yeah, check those guys out. They're in this tiny little, dinky plaza in the middle of Port Jefferson, so I thought, these guys can't really be much. But then I had their beer, and I was like, yeah. So
nice.
Looks like they do some, as you would have guessed, some barrel aging.
Wait a second,
Yes.
Sean. Sean, do you see the name of one of their beers? The 4th one?
Triple H Belgian style.
Oh my
triple.
God! I'm
That's
going for
perfect.
it. That is so awesome. Okay, we can stop reading. That's probably the beer just to go for.
Yeah.
Nashua Zone, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So also we have the Prison City Pub and Brewery from Alcatraz. No, I'm kidding. From Auburn, New York.
if you've ever been to Auburn, New York, you're not far off with the Alcatraz.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
Auburn,
Auburn, New York is like Rochester, New Hampshire.
But I mean, what about this name called Puff Puff Shiv, Laser Brain on Apricots,
Cool Hand Cuke.
barrel aged straight out of Locat. Oh my God, this is crazy. Prohibition Pig from Waterbury. Great brewery. If you haven't been to the brewery since they've added the brewery, highly recommend checking it out. Their food's tasty, as always. A lot of meat. We also have RAR Brewing, which is Real Revival out of Cambridge. Yeah,
Real Revival. It's a,
yeah, that's probably what it is. It's out of Cambridge, Maryland.
the Nanticoke Nectar India Pale Ale.
Ooh. We also have Relic Brewing out of Plainville. I haven't anything from Relic, but I've seen a bunch of their stuff. Sean, I know you've tasted some Relic.
A little bit, not enough. Not enough.
Yeah. The votes, the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've had the Sisterhood of Thieves yet.
Okay. Nice one. God, it's real good. Carla's Carla, we're getting close to home here. Rising Tide showing up.
Rising Tide, and this gives me an opportunity to mention that their Goza has been renamed Pisces because it's been made a real beer now for them.
So it's now, is it a year round or just more of like they're producing more of it?
I believe it's year-round. If not, it's a regular beer. Like, it's going to be, like, made on a regular basis. They've got brand new cans for it that have that gorgeous, kind of watercolor painted fish on it. It's gorgeous.
Nice.
But they just started doing those new cans, and so that will be around as a staple for them for a while. So if you're a fan of the Goza, it has graduated into Pisces, and I couldn't be happier about that.
Awesome. Quick break. We'll take a hot off the press look at this tweet. Wednesday, River Rock Brewing is releasing their first can.
Who?
Which is tomorrow.
River Rock Brewing.
River Rock.
Yeah, that's Wednesday. Wednesday.
It'll be in Leary's by Friday.
That's awesome. So that's cool.
Dude, I went down a Riverwalk on my way back from something in the middle of Mass, and man, do they give my thumbs up of approval. I know we've talked to them before, but they make some really good beer.
Awesome for them. Hot off the press news.
Carla, when did you go to Riverwalk?
I want to say a month ago.
Yeah.
And you didn't call me?
8 minutes away.
Yeah, I know. But it was on the way back from something else.
Everyone knows.
Yes. No, I totally did the thing where I went in your backyard and I didn't call you guys.
It took a selfie in front of Sean's house.
Exactly.
Hey. While Sean's like looking out the window. Who the hell is that?
Yeah. No, but I would definitely come back.
I thought it was the Google card taking photos.
Yeah.
Right.
Jesus. We also have Schilling coming because they're one of my faves, but they're also a very small brewery, but they're making huge waves. Sean, Schilling.
Littleton, New Hampshire. You got to drive far to get up there, but go and have some Erastus, which is their triple. It's pretty solid.
Yeah. Carl, have you yet to have a Schilling? No, you had Schilling at the Beer Fest in Loon last year, right?
Yes,
Nice.
I did have some while I was there.
I'm going up there next month as well. It's 3 weeks after this fest is the one up in Loon, which we'll talk about in a couple of the shows. But this brewery I've had one of, and their beers are really, really good. The Single Cut Beersmiths out of Queens. Have you heard of them?
No.
Yeah, I'm not. I've heard about that.
I believe they've came up as far as Redstone in Saugus, Mass. So I believe you can get a couple of their beers there. But one of the IPAs I had, I forget what it was called. It wasn't one of these, but it was kind of a long name. Great beers. So they've come with good praise from some people. If Ben was here, he'd be doing some backflips because we have Steady Habit Brewing Company out of Haddam, Connecticut. And for those that want a personal recommendation, not just because I love stouts, but their Big Bad Bunny is a fantastic beer. So Steady Habit, check them out. Geek Nip. This is a cool name for a beer. I don't even know what that means, but I'm in. That's an American IPA there. Rounding out the list, rocking at Stoneface showing up.
Bring in a little Stoneface RIS.
Oh boy, yes.
Along with Full Clip. I wonder what's going to kick first, Full Clip or Stoneface IPA.
And Full Clip has no rating? Is that what that middle column is?
Yes.
Does that mean it means there's not enough to rate it.
Ooh,
So,
yeah,
the last column is how many ratings it has, so it has like 2.
Wow, so you can change the tide just by trying it.
Yeah.
Get in there. Speaking of which, there's a fire at Coles near Stoneface, but that's local news that no one really cares about. I think someone threw a cigarette in the trees outside, but Coles is fine. Coles is fine. There's a picture on my Twitter, actually, if you want to see it. I thought the place was burning down, but it turns out it was just outside. Going back to beer talk, the Stony Creek Brewery in Branford, Connecticut is coming. I have not had anything from them. Anyone else?
I've had some Big Cranky and some Ripe Cranky. They're connected with that's where Andy Schwartz went.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
You mentioned this a couple of shows ago with Ben, because I remember you saying that. Good call.
Yep.
I've seen this brewery, but I haven't had anything. The Beard Brewing Company out of Stonington, Connecticut.
They have a double IPA called Hobbit Juice.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. And just hey, listen, just a beer called Dogs and Boats.
Exactly.
Because.
That doesn't give you a mental image of who should drink that beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Right?
I mean, and there should be a scavenger hunt to try vote for best beer name, just because. And
if you guys want to play along at home, it's beeradvocate.com/micro/beer is the list that we're looking at here, and it's kind of there's some crazy beer names on here. I would love to hear your nomination for the best beer names on here.
Yes, and then were they at the ACBF last year, Sean
Oh yeah.
Spencer?
Yep.
Okay, so coming back to the trade center is Spencer Trappist Brewery out of Spencer, Mass.
So, am
Bringing
I the only one who didn't know they have an IPA and a Russian Imperial Stout? I still thought they all they have was like the Trappist Ale. I had no idea that they made like an RS.
So the first one was a holiday ale that came out in November, December timeframe. The Russian Imperial Stout came out January. The IPA was about 2 months ago, and the Pilsner is literally just being released now.
That has one.
For
But
each of
yes,
the beers like this that they come up with, they actually have to go to Belgium and in front of the whole Trappist committee petition to make the different beers.
whoa!
I mean,
Wow.
if you thought the Parliament was yelling, no, I'm kidding. It's just yelling about beer over here. These guys.
I would love to be a fly on the wall of that conversation, right?
It's
Like
probably pretty
just
quiet. It's probably take look at the recipe, a nod.
it's like
It's a lot of prayers.
Yeah, exactly, Carly. It's like,
oh,
yeah, silence. And then, also joining the club is Throwback. Get in there.
They'll bring in seashells, which I don't think I've had that one yet.
I don't think so either, but their cheek squeezer is very good, and they had it on cask, I believe, this past weekend.
nice.
But yeah, all good stuff. And you know what? A lot of these, because it's in the summer, I wonder if it's just because that's what they have. But a lot of good Berliners, blondes, farmhouses, which is good because it might be hot. You never know. In Boston, it could be 1,000 degrees. It could be 50. Who knows?
Well, the Seaport Trade Center, it's almost always hot in there, though.
Oh, it's true, especially when you're around a lot of big guys with beards.
Indoors, it will be hot.
Yeah.
So it'll be like a mini summer, no matter what it's doing outside.
God, man, just thinking about it. Yeah, I love sweating. I really do. And then Tributary showing up.
Tributary.
Yeah, so if you want to see Todd in action.
Yeah.
Have you had their Schwartz beer or anything, Carla? Anything from them?
I have not had Schwartz beer, but I did have the Grand Cru and the Pale Ale month or so back, and
nice.
both were. I really liked the Grand Cru actually. Of the taster that I did while I was there, that was actually my favorite one. I don't know if that Hefeweizen is different than a Hefeweizen that they brewed previously. It says Spring Hefeweizen, so I'm not sure if I've had that one.
It's coming in at a hot 8.5% ABV, so it's gonna pack a punch.
Yes.
I mean, a spring Hef at 8.5.
Exactly.
Let's go. We also have Von Trapp. We were talking about them a little bit at the beginning of the show.
And their IPL, which is their fourth one, just came out. Fourth on this list, just came out about a couple weeks ago.
I'm excited about that.
They're all over my feed right now. They're like they have come on in bottles pretty strong, and on draft actually they're doing like a tap takeover at I want to say it's the Thirsty Pig or the Great Lost Bear. I can't remember this week sometime. So they're in. I really like their Hellas actually. Speaking of Hellas.
It's real good. Yeah, all the biggest hits. Hills Are Alive. We also also from Brattleboro is Whetstone Station Restaurant and Brewery. I believe my dad, aka Rick Brews, has been there. Carl, have you been?
I have. Hi, Tim and Amy. Yeah, so those guys used to be video bloggers for beer. And
what was it called? Here for the Beer?
Here's for the beer.
Here's for the beer. And so they were operating a bed and breakfast, and then they opened up a restaurant brewery, and it's right on the water. It's actually a really cool spot. And I went a couple years back when they first opened, and I was just like, this is so awesome. I want to go back. But I'm happy to see that they're still doing really well, and again, I'd love to go back for another visit.
I've been there too.
Good stuff.
A couple times. Yeah.
Man, just leaves me. I got to get up to get down to Brattleboro. And rounding out the list of breweries is Zero Gravity / American Flatbread out of Burlington, Vermont. And Ben says nothing about what really good things about their new brewery, which they opened up, which is right across the street from Queen City in Burlington. Is it called Queen City, Sean? I think it's Queen City out of Burlington. But so they used to, I think they still brew some beer out of that flatbread place, but yeah. So that rounds out the beers. And then they go into a list of ciders and things. I don't want to
I'm actually excited for the Dovetail Sake.
Sake coming in.
Yes, that's Todd Bellamy's sake.
Oh, here we go. Take a sip. Who's Todd Bellamy?
He used to work for Sam Adams, being their customer service person for a long time, until he
Awesome.
opened up his own. You would probably recognize because he worked at a lot of different brew fests.
Okay, gotcha.
Uh,
Okay.
And then
Um,
the Lookout Farm is the one that we've talked about beforehand,
right.
which is Aaron, who was formerly from Watch City.
hmm
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yep.
and I
And
was a special shout outs to North Country Cider, because my favorite cider. And then there's Moonlight showing up too.
a little bit of UFF, which is
UFF.
right from Carla's backyard.
Nice.
Yep. And like I said earlier, they're going to start brewing beer soon too. So
Yes. Is it just? It's just called Gruit, right?
yeah, and I've been told that that's kind of like that's the beer side is going to be called Gruit, and the other side is going to be called UFF. But I haven't seen any official thing. But yes, it is going to be Gruit, which makes me happy. Because I really like what Earth Eagle's doing, and they have such cool ingredients that they already work with all their kombucha and cider and stuff that I can't wait to see kind of what they come up with here. And I'll keep in touch because I've been kind of poking around and see if I can get a sneak peek before they open. So I'll let you know how it is. But their kombucha and their cider is really good.
Very cool.
And they always use, like locally foraged ingredients and all sorts of fun things. But I do really like their dry cider because it has just that little bit of a crisp bite to it. It's very nice.
Very nice. That rounds out the entire list. I don't know if you guys want to pick a favorite because we kind of talked about them during this thing, but and if you guys also who are listening want to check out kind of our tips of beer fests, I believe the easiest thing to do is go back to the last American Craft Beer Fest episode where we kind of went through some like must-dos in terms of beer fests, like
survival and
survival tips, people to look out for, what to and what not to do, but most importantly, as I try to do, even myself, I make the mistake every time I go to a festival, small or big, is I try to make a plan. It usually goes out the window the second I walk through that door. I don't know if it's the same with you guys, but I like to be like, I'll go to this brewery first, and then we'll see what happens. But then usually like you're looking everywhere. So.
And this list is hard because when you're folks like us and we go to a lot of beer fests, a lot of the time what breweries are there are ones we're familiar with, regional fests most of the time, right? So, you've got the 15 New Hampshire breweries that show up at certain fests. You've got the same 20, main ones. And a fest like this is when I stand in the middle of it and I'm like, I don't know where to go because I haven't had any of this beer. So, and that's a great problem to have. So I always just encourage people to go for the stuff that you don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the stuff with the most hype, but go for something you've never had because when are you going to get a chance again to have something from like Penn Yan, New York, or or all these other kind of crazy places, Virginia, Maryland, that you won't see, or even some of the ones that are local that like I didn't know there was that new one in Worcester.
Yep.
Go figure.
Yep. Sean, are you attending any of these sessions?
Not fully locked in. I'm gonna figure out which one you're gonna go to.
I will be
and then
there.
Avoid it.
Oh, come on. Well, then, yeah. I will be there as of, I'm waiting for another text confirmation from my +1, but I should be there Saturday, the entire day.
Oh, really? Okay.
So we will see with my special guest +1, who it also happens to be that person's birthday. So we will hopefully be there all day.
Maybe I can be able to fit that in.
Oh, man, you know what? I just got a text that he can't make it. Sorry. So I'm not going to go. No, I'm kidding. I'm getting a shot at. Please, I love going to beer fest with you. Don't kid yourself. But yes, again, tickets are on beeradvocate.com/micro. This first session on Saturday is sold out. So your two options as of this recording of the podcast is Friday from 6 to 9:30 p.m. or Saturday from 6 to 9:30 p.m. And you can buy as many as 24 tickets at a time, according to this Eventbrite. So, and it should be noted that tickets are $55, which is not too shabby for a 3.5-hour festival with beers of this caliber and this variety as well. You just gotta keep going. And then one of my tips that I've learned, I don't know who told me, it could have been you, Sean, or something, was use your beer cup as the water cup and just rinse out your cup.
Yeah, that's a fantastic.
If you rinse out your cup every time that you drink it,
yes,
and you drink that water, that you'll be drinking as much water as you'll have beer.
Damn.
And you'll be pacing yourself. It's important.
And it is super. My wife tries to keep me honest. Like if I don't like the beer, dump it.
Dump it out.
Like there's no need. Like it's a small sample, and they're passing millions of samples out. So if you don't like the beer, dump it. Try another one. Maybe don't give them a weird face like to the brewer.
No, don't stand there and like eye contact.
Judge them like.
And realistically, do not try to go and have the highest ABV beer at every table.
God, that's annoying, but I love it's people watching heaven though, isn't it though?
Yeah.
but we don't want to be watching you do that because you're smart listeners of this podcast. So.
Exactly.
But yeah, so again, the websites, it will be in the show notes. There's also a bunch of things as to the food that's going to be there. I believe as well. I don't want to say it unless this link isn't loading because everyone's going there right now live from the show. That's why it's slowing up. But I believe there's also parties going on throughout the week, maybe the weekend, that at various restaurants that they have links to as well that you can check out. But for any questions, I got the big Error 522. No go. But there's also a good frequently asked questions section as to like parking, transportation, where to, what time to get there and things. So everything's. I mean, they're pros at this. That's why they're the beer advocate. So. Check it out. Any final thoughts on this fest, guys, before we close up?
I'm excited for it.
I wish I could go. I'm going to be out of town, but honestly, I'm psyched that they're trying something new instead of just ACBF. I kind of got over ACBF a couple years ago. It's just too big for me. So this would be a little bit more fun. I really wish I could go because it's a different way of doing things. You got one of the things at the bottom of this page. It says that basically the brewery employees are going to be the ones pouring the beer. It's not just going to be, volunteers and who maybe don't know the beers as well. And it sounds like they're bringing some really different stuff. So I'm all for this. Like, hey, let's try it out and see what happens with this new fest. But I've been waiting for an ACBF alternative for a while, so I'm okay with that.
Sweet deal, Shano.
Pumped.
All right, cool. Those wise words. That will do it for this episode. But Carla, I know you're going away next week. But anything going on this coming weekend? It's long weekends. Things going on up for beer in terms of beer.
Honestly, I don't have a lot of events off top of head. Like I said, the Bissell Brothers are opening the following weekend, so that's where everyone will be there. But I'm not sure what's going on because I think there's a few people that just kind of stayed away from doing stuff over Memorial Day weekend because they figured that everybody was going to go, do whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be, it's the kickoff of summer though, so I guess we'll see. I'm going to try to actually get to a couple of tasting rooms that I haven't been to yet before all the crazy tourists come. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, only thing I got going on is it's tied to a brewery, but it's more of a running thing. It's the Red Hook 5K. It's happening on Sunday. So my wife and I will be doing it. We will both be winning the men's and the women's division. So look out, suckers! Because eat my dust. No, but no, yeah. So we'll be doing that. It's usually a fairly packed event, but. At the end of the day, it's a great race. It's a fast course for those that enjoy like fast 5Ks, not that many hills, things like that. But that's what I'll be doing.
You're basically running around peas, right?
Yeah. It's just kind of one loop. And it ends like right in Red Oak's parking lot. So it's pretty cool.
Perfect.
And then it ends with a free beer. So
perfect.
Get going. We didn't sign up early enough to get a shirt, which is one of my biggest gripes about races is paying but not getting a shirt. But that's for my running podcast that I haven't started yet.
Don't you have enough? Don't you have a lot of shirts, anyways? I can give you a couple if you need some.
I mean, I got a couple of shirts. I mean, I'm not gonna go shirtless. I'm just saying I want a free shirt from the. But yeah, so you can find me there. Other than that, not too much. I'm just kind of staying away from Portsmouth just for another couple weeks. Even though tourist season's starting, graduation season's dying down, so I'm waiting for that perfect go to Portsmouth. People are kind of like they're the
it's like the influx, like it changes, so it's like
everything settles down and I'm in because right now everyone's like Portsmouth, Kittery, Kennebunk, like it's starting now.
Yeah.
So I'm very scared, and then Hampton Beach will be coming up soon. Keep an eye out for a little hint here. Keep an eye out for a article from me in a week or so about a brewery I visited that is in New Hampshire and not open yet.
Ooh.
So try that on for size. But I visited a place yesterday, and I am very happy with what I saw.
Nice.
But Sean, anything going on this weekend, sir?
Nothing too big, but I will tell you that there's a collaboration with maybe. Did you visit a brewery that was in Portsmouth, by any chance?
Negative.
Okay, so they're doing a collaboration with what's the new brewery that's opening?
Liar's Bench?
Liar's Bench. Yeah.
Ooh, I haven't been there yet.
Yeah. So that will be coming out soon.
Nice.
And I'm letting all 20 of our listeners know about that now.
Live listeners.
Live listeners. That's what I meant. Live listeners.
I'm very sure.
Because once it gets posted, the beer will already be out there anyway.
Totes my goats, and Liar's Bench is showing up at the Dover Beer Festival, I believe, in July.
Yeah, I was also. I don't know if you were watching Great Rhythm's Twitter handle. They've been having different pictures of equipment showing up as they start installing stuff.
I'm excited.
So that will be coming soon. I don't know if they've announced a date yet for opening, but that should be happening soon, which should be
Very
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Other than that, mostly I have a lot of different events around town, but they're more just work stuff that's going on.
Gotcha. Well, if that's going to do it, we will close up shop for this episode, and we will see you next week for a great episode of the Secret Beverages Lab podcast. Carla and Sean, cheers. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Oh, have a great Memorial Day weekend, too. Do that.